and it's engaged me. Fan engagement at its best. Well done.
I agree. I think people are beginning to get a little bit tired of the mediocre stuff, and it isn't that compelling.
A college just got signed to Amazon Prime. Here's everything you need to know. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Attention Shift. She's Joe Redfern.
And he's Ed Abbas. Go, Ed.
Right then, kicking straight off. So
Publishers are competing for attention, but they're using old formats. Writing more articles won't fix declining revenue. The opportunity isn't more content. It's the ownership of live moments. When big events happen, like sports finals, breaking news, cultural moments, publishers should become the digital stage. Interactive formats, audience participation, sponsored integrations. That's how you create inventory brands will pay for.
Bryson DeChambeau said he'd rather grow his YouTube channel than go back to the PGA Tour. Unpack that one.
Do you think he's burnt his bridges? I mean, part of the Live Golf saga, everybody's looking at Bryson DeChambeau. He seems to me to be the athlete who is in the best position here. Looks like he's more keen on keeping his audience ownership. Perhaps he sees that as more valuable, potentially, for his career in the long run than necessarily getting back into bed with the PGA. He's effectively saying, I want to own the relationship with my fans and I want to guard that, and that's more important to me.
Yeah, he said that he only wants to play in tournaments that want him. So I suppose that's referencing the majors, which he does play in, right? But and also referencing the fact that, God damn it, I ain't paying any fans to come back on that tour.
I mean, yeah. Look, if you think about it this way, he's got his YouTube channel. He can publish when he wants. Nobody's telling him what he can upload and when. He's got sponsorship inventory. I mean, that gives him a resilience with his. I mean, it's a direct to audience relationship, and it feels like golf's moving towards that kind of boxing culture, isn't it? Where the talent and the personalities are beginning to matter more than the institutions around them.
Yeah, almost becoming more fragmented. Like obviously in boxing, yes, you have the governing bodies with the belts, but you've got individual promoters, and the governing bodies have some kind of sway over who fights who, but really it's the promoters that are making the fights. I think it's interesting because obviously he's done what he's done. He's done this Source Golf Creator Network with Grant Horvath.
Yeah, with Grant Horvath, yeah.
Which, when you put them all together, the size of them all and their own individual audiences, they are saying, look, we've got a level of creative control over what we do that allows us to be whoever we want to be and go wherever we want to go. And, perhaps, winning PG, being on that almost that hamster wheel. I think I've heard it described like that before.
Yeah.
Golf event after golf after golf event. If he can just turn up and just play in the majors, be in between, have fun and do his own commercial deals and play with his mates.
Exactly.
There's a lot to be said for having that sort of control in your life, I guess.
Why wouldn't you? And he's got 2.6 million subscribers. I was looking at Social Blade and how much, he's likely to make just from on-platform revenue from those 2.6 million subscribers. It might not equal the big paychecks of the big tournaments, but it's not to be sniffed at. The counterpoint to it I was thinking about this is I can totally get why DeChambeau might choose his YouTube channel over going back to the PGA and the restrictions that come with it. But the tours exist precisely to do the opposite of what he's talking about. I mean, if everybody good golf and all the golfers atomize out into their own audiences, the tours and the big events they bring it all back together again. They create that center of gravity where you bring audiences, you bring fans, you create stakes, you package those moments that get circulated on TikTok. It's putting on the green jacket, all of that. So you don't really want to get rid of those because they can be quite compelling, and that's what existing fans follow golf for. So it's how they're going to build something that kind of sits in the middle. The thing is, it's a pretty binary choice at the moment, isn't it? You're in one camp or you're the other.
Yeah, and I think that something that a lot of people miss is in the same press briefing when he was talking about ultimately he wants to play the tournaments he wants to play in. He talked about dubbing his own content in different languages as well. Obviously, it's new feature now on YouTube where it is easy to dub content. I think we saw as well Mr. Beast has actually deleted a lot of his local language YouTube pages now because he doesn't need to anymore because he can actually make the content in different languages themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bryson's thinking in terms of markets, not platforms, and he's trying to build a channel. He's trying to build a global content IP, and he thinks he's probably the best place to do it because he's in a position in there right now. So, yes, you can look at what's going on with Liv as a negative, and who's to say that Liv doesn't continue in another guy's right? And I think he's keeping his mind open to that as well. But what he's saying is I don't have to stand still, and I can continue to build this platform that I've already used this vehicle to do, essentially. And I don't think, and you know, the funny thing is, I've always tried to sort of unpack DeChambeau a little bit. I think he's just being brutally honest, not necessarily arrogant with it as well. He's just stating a clear fact. That's where he is in his life.
Why not? No, I agree with that. I agree. And I don't think Bryson Inc. is going anywhere soon. I think he's a force to be reckoned with. So, watch this space. Are you into micro dramas, Ed?
Oh,
is this your thing?
That's all I ever watch.
So TikTok is getting into scripted microdramas, which are very much on vogue in the media and streaming industry at the moment. Any number of vertical microdrama apps, if you go into the App Store, bloody hundreds of them. But TikTok is actually commissioning its own. So they've got into bed with Issa Rae, who is a very well-respected producer, actress, writer. So she's proper Hollywood, and they're looking at how they can create a studio that can feed scripted microdramas onto TikTok. What this is, I mean, there is a bit of a gold rush with short form kind of microdramas, and some of them are howlers, but I do think that there is something in it. It's not just disposable content. There was a really, it wasn't actually scripted, but there was a 50-part success on TikTok a couple of years ago with a lady who was talking about her horrendous marriage and her husband who got a secret second life. And there were 50 parts to this story she was telling. And the number of people that went through the whole 50 was just crazy. So actually constructed in the right way, they can be really, really compelling. We've seen High School Musical and Mean Girls, Hollywood movies, chopped up into small segments and put in those segments on TikTok. So it can work. What I'm really interested in is how it could start showing up, or sports could start showing up in it. I think a lot of people think that sports is incompatible with this vertical storytelling. I think it's absolutely compatible. Vertical, emotional, episodic, drama. It's all there.
There's so many. I've always said this. There's so many opportunities in a sporting week, in whatever sport it is. And I remember when I used to work in sports, and you just around a sporting facility, which to most people is their place of worship, their mecca to go to. And us who've worked in sports, we see little things that now you would be thinking in micro drama terms. You could make little, however long, 3-minute things about this little thing that you would normally see yourself. I remember, walking down tunnels, seeing the people who are cleaning the kit and all those kind of things. You can make content out of that because it's access and stories that no one ever sees.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many. Everyone always thinks player, and I don't think that's necessarily the most important thing in terms of it in sports that people want to know about. There's so many other stories that are going on as well.
Yeah.
And I think the other point I was going to make as well, Joe, I think what's interesting with this is look, and we were talking about this off camera, weren't we, that so often you'll open up TikTok on your phone and you're just then accosted by a lot of random stuff because you accidentally watched something once that you didn't intend to watch, and then your timeline's just full of it. I think there's a sense of, I think for TikTok to grow even further and transition, and I think maybe start to really get the kind of growth it's had in China, because I think the estimates are is like US and Europe were about 4 years behind where they're at with content. I think we need to start seeing more quality content. In a lot of ways, it is copying the model that YouTube started to do, where you start seeing more quality content being made on the YouTube platform. I don't think it'd be a massive surprise for TikTok to start mimicking that now.
I agree. I think people are beginning to get a little bit tired of the mediocre stuff, and it isn't that compelling. it gets, like you said, disposable very quickly. But if you can nail something that feels native, but it's got a premium quality to it, yeah, you'd be in. One of the interesting things I think would be women's sports, because women's sports tends to be, you can lean more into the personalities, the drama, the locker room fits. I think again about something I wrote about in that when I was talking about Netflix and what's popular in terms of sports content on Netflix. There was a gymnastics show on there, and it was super, super popular. And it's just like a scripted narrative drama about a gymnastics academy. Now, you think about that in vertical.
Is that the one in New York?
Yeah, and it was, you look at the hours viewed on Netflix, and it was crazy successful. And it only had one season, but it's punched far above its weight. So you could imagine that in vertical, 100%. The only thing is, and what I will caveat is, if TikTok are going to go in with premium partnerships with people like Issa Rae, those are the creators who are looking to get into this space. The economics get even more brutal. The economics are brutal on YouTube, as we know. They're even more brutal on TikTok. Yeah. And once a platform starts making stuff themselves directly, you can more or less say goodbye to any meaningful monetization, which then is a disincentive to invest in making premium vertical drama. So I think, buyer beware. You're not just going to go on there and create some quality content and clean up, because there is a lot of vertical microdramas out there at the moment, and there's going to be a big bloodbath. But I am really interested to see what comes out in sport, particularly women's sport. I think this could be some really good stuff coming out of it.
The biggest events of the year are gold mines for publishers, and Display's new research shows you exactly how to cash in. We analysed over 30,000 comments across the US election, the World Cup, the Met Gala and more, uncovering 8 ways audiences engage, so you can package, price and sell your content and own the conversation, whether you have broadcast rights or not. Head to display.com insights to download Harness the Hype today. Cool. Okay, that next story. So, a US college just signed its first Amazon Prime deal. So Duke College, they've done a deal with Amazon Prime that covers 3 of their marquee neutral site games. I'm assuming that means not in their own stadium, per season for the next 3 seasons. So they're going to play UConn, Michigan and Gonzaga. It's Prime Video's first ever college sports right deal, and only 72 hours passed between Duke's announcement and the Big Ten and Fox Sports going public with their objection. So it's already kicked off. And again, we were talking off camera about this as well, about how US sports have no qualms whatsoever about fragmenting the hell out of the audience's viewing experience. Kind of like, we're doing a deal, you watch it if you can find it. Kind of, it's.
Well, yeah, to hell with collective bargaining. It feels like very often teams and in this case a college, screw the others in the league. If they see a chance to go and make a buck with someone directly, and particularly someone like Amazon who has got the checkbook, then they'll climb over the other ones to get the deal. Which, it means that the others lose leverage, but Duke must be sitting pretty.
Well, that's the thing about it. Big Ten was created for... Look, and there's been some changes that last few years as well, but Big Ten was created for a reason. So their argument is they're not defending, scheduling, they're defending the whole structure. Because if Duke can do it, then Ohio State can do it, and Alabama can do it, and USC can do it, and then the whole point of that conference doesn't exist anymore. So why even exist as Big Ten? So you can see why Fox have objected as well. I still do wonder as well, though, if Duke can go and do that, how the hell were those contracts structured in the first place in terms of that conference to be able to just break away and decide they're going to do it?
And bypass, Yeah, I don't know. That is it's a mystery, and I don't profess to know the mechanics of it. But
No. What is interesting is what they have done is the whole mechanic that's buried within it around NIL opportunities for athletes and merchandise retail activations that Duke Sports are going to do inside the Amazon ecosystem. So in the same way we over here in Europe, when we watch stuff on Amazon and you can press the button to not add it to your cart, I'm assuming they're talking about doing a very similar thing.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing that I picked up on. It's this content commerce that we've spoken about before. You do a deal and your merchandise, all of the stuff, the gear, it's embedded within that ecosystem. So it reduces the friction between watching the game, seeing your favourite player, putting the jersey, the Funko Pop, whatever it is that you want to choose, in your basket, seamless, job done. Check out, it arrives at your door a couple of days later. That is, I mean, I'm seeing it in entertainment, we're seeing it in sport, that seamless purchase experience, whether you find it interruptive or not, it's coming, it's in, it's right there, and you're not going to be able to avoid it. And it's the same in sport as well. And it feels...
I don't mind it as long as it's contextual, and as long as it's, in an ideal world, selling me things that are relevant to the content that I'm consuming. I actually don't mind. I don't see the problem. It's like, it's very convenient. But maybe I'm a marketeer's dream.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, as a marketer, yes, I too am a marketer's dream. The issue being, it needs to be contextual and it needs to feel seamless. And I don't know if we're there yet. We've spoken about it before with the rugby. It came up when we were at Stream TV Europe, how a lot of the CTV ads are not quite there yet in terms of giving you the right ad at the right time. You know, if we see the Jude Law Uber Eats ad one more time, you know, we're going to shoot Jude Law. Yeah.
Or I'll
So,
no, I'm joking.
yeah, so I don't know if we're quite there yet, but then all of these are steps towards that being ironed out. So yeah, it's coming. Sports, drama, you know, whatever.
Well,
you're going to be you'll be watching drama and you'll see a little message saying, you want to buy Anne Hathaway's dress? Here you go.
Yes.
I mean, I know you would. You look great. You look great in
I still need to go and buy those Adidas anime trainers that I've had in my basket for a few months. Until I realised how costly they were, I thought I'd never get away with that.
So now you need to tell me about fencing, because you sprung this one on me. I wasn't sure we were going to talk about this one, but talk to me about fencing and blade tracking.
Fencing is my every 4-year guilty pleasure at the Olympics. I mean, it's like... do you know when you come around to when it's Winter Olympics, whether it's Summer Olympics, and there's always a sport, like, for instance, you know, we were talking about, like, the sports I love and the sports that, like, curling's not one for me, and that's all I'm going to say about curling.
I like a bit of curling.
But fencing, I love it. But, so, what fencing has done is, they've now turned, I was going to get this wrong here, their sword tips into, their motion tracked, essentially. So, obviously, the people who are fencing against each other don't see this when they're playing, but us as the viewing audience now look like they are waving around lightsabers. Now, that sounds very entertaining, obviously, and lots of fun, but there's real context to this, because they are so good at what they do, and they move at such speed. The only time, really, if you're a layman like me, that you know if someone's scored a hit or not, is because you hear a buzzer go off and the referee stops it. Now you see the motion... You actually see how they are getting their shots in. So I think for me, it transforms the viewing experience. And it turns a layman into someone who understands the sport better. And it's engaged me. Fan engagement at its best. Well done.
And a good use of tech, not just tech for tech's sake.
Look. And so I think it's been developed by Rhizomatics and Dentsu Lab Tokyo. And they're using advanced motion tracking to be able to do it. And I guess... when you see what I mean, how I described this to you earlier, Joe, was kind of like, do you know when you're in the garden in winter and it's bonfire night? And for anyone who's not in Britain and doesn't know what bonfire night is, Guy Fawkes, look it up. And we have sprinklers, which are essentially pieces of metal. Sparklers, sorry, not sprinklers, that's something else. Sparklers that you light and they sparkle and you move them around. Everyone spells out the name. It's a posh.
It's like that. I love it. I'm going to go and watch this clip. That I heard that there was a viral clip that had gone around this week that had done a few million views. I'm going to watch it after this.
Yeah, and I've seen some great ones of it as well. That depending on the colour of the nation, that's the colour of the tip as well. So and when you see both tips going together, it just visually transforms it and makes it very different to what you would expect. And
when you're watching it, are you going whoom? Are you making the
Can you imagine if they had the sound effects? Can we get someone on from World Fencing to tell us if they're going to add in these lightsaber sound effects? Please get in touch. It's a suggestion. You don't have to do it.
Joking aside, if it makes something more understandable and accessible, and again, I come back to kind of kids and young audiences, trying to find the thing that really chimes with them, the kind of sport that they like. And we know that niche sports are finding new audiences now, mainly because the more niche, the less likely you are to have a broadcaster or a media partner, so you're putting stuff on YouTube. And those niche sports are finding new fans. But, if this, now makes it more accessible and understandable to a teenager who just happens to stumble upon it on YouTube, that's a potential fan gain. So actually, this is it's super positive.
And what I should have explained as well before I launched in and got very geeky about it was the whole point of them unveiling this was the World Fencing League debuted on the 26th of April. It was the first ones at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. So they had actually debuted this on the inaugural stage of the World Fencing League. It's enabled them to get unbelievable traction for a new league, and it just goes to show that, like, if someone ever asked the question, how do we suddenly make our sport stand out, make people want to take notice? Like, there you go. And if you think about it, yes, look, there's a lot of technology behind it. 24 cameras tracking every sort of angle of it to be able to do it. But it feels like the investment in it has been far outweighed by the reach it's got. I think it did 9 million plays, just one post on ESPN's TikTok. Did another 5 million on the single Chinese language X repost. Like, that's just a few pieces of content. Like, fencing doesn't get that kind of scale. It just doesn't. Every 4 years it does in the Olympics, but then it's stuck in with all the other sports too. So, more of those kind of things, please.
Yes. Good, sensible use of technology, just not ramming it down our throats for the sake of it, and I think that's a good thing. Right.
If you're a creator who wants to build a career like the Sidemen or Emma Chamberlain, here's one to watch. You've built the audience, you've got the revenue. How do you take to the next level? Right now, everything you built depends on you showing up. To break out, you've got to look beyond the next upload. The creators building real businesses aren't just making better content, they're building assets that work without them. We've mapped out 4 phases which will turn you from a creator to a media empire. Read the guide, start building beyond the upload.
Do you remember, daft question, did you have a Panini sticker album?
Oh, God,
or several?
I've had so many down the years. I've not done it for a while because it's got very expensive, but yeah.
So, but sad news, kind of cray emoji. FIFA is ending their relationship with Panini after 50 years. More than 50 years, actually. So, unfortunately, they have decided that in a couple of years, they're going to finish their partnership with Panini, their longtime partners, and they're going to move over to Fanatics. And Fanatics are doing, well, we know Fanatics for collectibles already, but their licensing deal or their new licensing deal will not just cover collectibles, but it will be those trading cards and the stickers and the sticker books, trading card games, all of that kind of stuff. Fanatics bought Topps, which was Panini's main sticker book rival a few years ago. And so, Fanatics kind of owns end-to-end merch, fans, stuff, collectibles, everything from badges to jerseys. It's, actually, you know what? I wonder... Is Fanatics going to get into streaming at some point? Anyway, I digress, but yeah.
Yeah, they're already doing quite a lot of digital. Yeah. So you got to wonder what happens to Panini after this, because Panini really is synonymous with FIFA.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think, look, Panini have done a lot of digital stuff themselves and tried to do a lot, but I think just the way that Fanatics have gone about this, I don't know, the constant growth themselves, but the acquisitions they've made. And I think, look, the Topps brand, Topps has got heritage too, right? They've been around for a number of years, not as long as Panini.
Oh, yeah.
I could be wrong here, but I think Panini are still family-owned. Italian brand.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are,
which, you know, in a sense you go, look, that's tough, right? Because you can only necessarily go so far without Fanatics. Have grown exponentially over the years. But I guess, look, this is how they're looking to innovate FIFA, and they've gone down this path. And I think I think the way that Fanatics have obviously managed to do this is because their deal is far wider ranging than just what Panini themselves are doing. And like I said, I've not bought a sticker book or a collectible book or a trading card for some time now, such is my age.
I was looking at the cost of them the other day, and I can see why.
Yeah.
Second mortgage to buy the sticker book and the nice.
If I think back though, if I think back, I used to spend a lot of money on them, but that's all my granddad did. It wasn't necessarily me. I would happily do chores around my granddad's pub that he used to live in, just because he'd then go and buy me more stickers.
I mean, two things that came to mind when I was reading this story. One, I was reading something about licensing and merchandise, and actually the biggest growing sector in licensing and merchandise at the moment is the adult collectibles market. So kidults, grown-ups treating themselves to toys and getting back into collecting is now arguably growing faster than kids and collectibles. I'll make that
argument later.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you spoke about the digital content, and I joked about Fanatics perhaps getting into streaming. You look at all of the content, a few years ago, you couldn't move on YouTube without seeing a toy unboxing video, kids unboxing little plushies and plastic figurines. That has exploded. Now you have got sticker pack on card breaking or whatever they call it, sticker pack opening. You've got this blind boxes, Labubu's, whatever these, kind of crazy little creatures are. You've got creators opening boxes where they don't know which one's going to be inside, and it's the anticipation of it. I mean, this is big business, and it's pretty lucrative, and Fanatics have done pretty well off the back of it, so it's no surprise that they've gone in big with FIFA.
Yeah, like I said, it's no surprise as well that, FIFA's joined now, but they've already got exclusive trading card rights to the MLB, the NBA from this season, NFL from 2026, so this season.
This is via Topps, yeah.
And now, via Topps. So, look, and they paid $500 million for Topps, so it wasn't a small acquisition. So, they clearly had a plan that they were going to make this work and get true scale. And it's interesting that, global trading card market, it's roughly tripled since 2019. And some, with eBay single card sales topping 1 billion annually at its peak. So it's had a real resurgence, and I think you think back, you always see these American films, don't you, with Babe Ruth cards and where people are using them for leverage for things as well. It feels like it's one of those things that has almost like there's nothing safe. When people say there's nothing safer than investing in gold, well, trading cards see pretty good investments as well, because they stick around for a number of years.
With a shiny.
Yeah.
How much you give me for my shiny?
Oh, I used to love the foil ones. Yeah, they're the foil ones. Used to love the foil ones.
Fanatics bought Topps at the height of NFTs, and I genuinely think that actually there was a big motivation, because they thought, sports NFTs were going to be the big thing. Of course, that's kind of gone away now, but out of the flames of that particular dumpster fire, collecting and memorabilia is still really lucrative, particularly amongst grown-ups. So, good. Sad for Panini. A lot of history there. But I can only see Fanatics taking it to the next level when the deal kicks in.
Absolutely.
So there we are. This has been the Attention Shift. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to feature as a guest or give us a question. Drop us an email too. So we're on hello@attentionshift.media. Have a good week.
Bye.